I'm live. Alrighty. Man, I'll tell you what. I need a good several day nap, I think, at this point. I had some fun visiting family. Half my family wasn't there because they just finished some trip or something. And some of them were sick. And so we got together with some of my family. My mom's birthday was recently, so we visited for her birthday, gave her some gifts, had a fun time chit-chatting with family. One of my aunts mentioned that she knows somebody in the northern New England area that does old-timey wooden puzzles for sale. So we were talking about some of the stuff I had done. I mean, maybe. I mean, somebody else was mentioning to me recently that they know of a store in the area where they do handmade puzzles and games for people. Maybe. I don't know. At this point, I'm just trying to get the energy to pull myself. Like I came back last night from family gathering. And I got bags under my eyes. Man, I have bags under my eyes, like hardcore right now. But yeah, I came back last night after 11 o'clock at night here. And I just like, boom, and I fell asleep within a half an hour. And woke up around noon. And I'm like, well, I've slept, but that doesn't mean I'm getting up yet. And so I was sort of not quite falling back asleep, but not quite awake yet either for the next 3 hours. I think I finally got up and like, I need to eat something. And so I ate my first meal about 6 hours ago. And I feel like in about 4 or 5 hours, it's bedtime again. It doesn't seem right, but my body just keeps wanting to go down for the night and stay down. And I wake up and I'm like, I'm more rested than I was, but that doesn't mean like within 2 hours of waking up, I could just go back and take another nap. Like my body really is just done in by either it was the travel or the cold or some combination of the two. But whew, man, it's hard to kick myself back into gear. So I don't think I did a video last night. I don't even know what day I'm in anymore. I think it's Monday, right? Yeah, I think it's Monday. So trying to get back into the stream of things. I'm looking at the calendar right now. I got an appointment I got to go to tomorrow in the city. But tomorrow is also Views Day. I have missed my first Views Day last week. So I feel a little bad about that, but I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to start with the videos for like the pilot episodes of each of the Marvel TV series. And I think I'll do 2 per night. So I will do the first one of each of the series. And that should be 8, I think. No. Let me see if I can pull that up. I had another computer crash, so I had it on a file and it disappeared. But I was talking with somebody about this a little while ago, and Yeah, don't struggle. Don't crash anything while I'm trying to do this, please. Yeah, we can do this. You can do it. There you go. Okay, so television. No, I think that we had this conversation in movie spoilers. So pull all the way back up here. Which one is me? I wish there were a better search function in Discord. Maybe there is, and I just don't know about it. I'm not well versed in this yet. I only joined somebody else's Discord channel partly to learn how it works. There's a huge discussion of no, that doesn't seem right. That was Thor Ragnarok. So that was my review of Thor Ragnarok we were discussing there. So I think after that was when I was brainstorming where I'm going next. A couple people got into a fight in the middle of it about the new Captain Marvel movie. And I kind of want to go back and see it, honestly. Because I don't really trust some of the opinions out there. Like, nobody ever seems to cover things in the way that suits my tastes or interests. Like, I have to just try it for myself, because there are a lot of people who have their own experiences that they're using to base their expectations on. There we go. I think we're getting closer. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 6 of the main, like the Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, Jessica Jones, and Punisher. And then there's Cloak and Dagger. And then there's Runaways. I think those are the big ones, the big, most recent series for Marvel on TV. And I think what I want to do is, I'll just write that down now so I can have that there. So, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Punisher, Defenders, I think Punisher season 1 comes after Defenders. This guy says Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones season 1, Luke Cage season 1, Iron Fist season 1, Daredevil season 2, Defenders, and then Jessica Jones 2, Punisher 1, Luke Cage 2, Iron Fist 2, Iron Fish, Daredevil 3, and then Punisher 2. Is sort of the sequence of things. I'm not sure if that is right or not. I'll look into that. But Cloak and Dagger does not interlock with the other series in any way, and Runaways doesn't either. But with Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Punisher, Defenders, Cloak and Dagger, and Runaways, I should have 8 series to watch. And I could do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. So I could probably do 2 per week. So like 2 this week, 2 next week, 2 on the 2nd. So 2 this week, 2 next week, 2 on the 2nd, 2 on the 9th. And that would get me and then like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe on the 16th. That would be 5 weeks, and then like well, maybe not. Maybe I should just do one at a time, because I want to hold this out. Like the Avengers Endgame comes out on the 26th of April, and that's like my next time to view a movie would be after that weekend, so like the 29th or 30th of April. And that's 1, 2, 3, that's 5, 6, 7 weeks away. So I could do one series per day, and that would get me, all the way out to the 1st of May, like the 6th of May. So I wouldn't have to meet the big rush of opening weekend. So I'm thinking I will do the views days as maybe one series per night. No, well, not per night. I did have that thought at one point. I very seriously considered every night from here on out doing a live viewing of a certain number of episodes from each of the series, because like with 3 seasons of like Daredevil, and each season being 13 episodes, and each episode being like 45 minutes, I could watch 1 or 2 episodes, maybe even 3 episodes a night of each of the series all the way through every night for 6 weeks, and sort of just come in at the end of it ready for Endgame. But I don't think enough people care for the views day night, and some of that is just down to I need to do better formatting for it. I want to do like a counter down here at the bottom that tells how far we are into the movie, so that people can sync up their movies with it a little bit better. And I feel like I could do a little picture-in-picture up here of like screen caps of a portion of it, just to kind of key moment portions of it. And then it might be more fun to be something to be done with guests, like have a friend on or something, and we watch a movie together, and we banter about it as we watch it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is something to the way I'm doing it, and I haven't gotten out far enough into it yet for people who are looking for that kind of thing to find it. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and it's not hurting me any to do a thing that's not getting a following yet. It's like I could produce this endlessly this way, and if nobody else watched it, I'm okay. Like, it's not hurting me to do that. Like, I'd watch the movies myself anyway. And there is a part of me, like, someday it'd be fun to go back and view some of these things I watched. Like, just remember who I was and what I was doing at the time I watched these things. Because there is a part of me, like, I can remember, like, when I've made pieces of artwork and I go through my storage and I dig them up and I find these old pieces of artwork that I did, and I can look at them and I go like, oh, I can even remember where I was when I did this. Like I was at my mom's dining room table. It was like the year after I graduated high school, and I hadn't figured out where I was going. I was going to a community college and living at home with my mom still. And like this is what was going on in my life at that time, and this is the painting. I can remember the song I had playing on the CD player right next to me when I painted this picture. And like reliving that moment, like, oh man, I remember being that person. That was quite a time in my life. And so to be able to maybe do something similar and like go back through my archives in 10, 15 years and look back and look at where I was right now. Like I had just come back from that trip to Hawaii. Now, my brain right now says like this was like a mixed bag of a trip and it wasn't as good as I would have hoped it could have been, but it was a nice introduction and a scouting trip, and the potential it leads me to better manage and figure out what I need to do the next time I go out to Hawaii. Like that's what's on my mind right now. But 10 years, 15 years from now, will I have been back? Will I remember that as like, oh, that first abortive attempt to try Hawaii? And like, I had no idea what the next 2 or 3 trips was going to be like. Or do I never get back there? Do I go do the round world trip and never really stop to head back to Hawaii? Maybe I go to Maui instead of Oahu and just never manage to make it back to Oahu because I'm too busy exploring other opportunities. Like being able to, in 10 years' time, realize how significant or insignificant all the things I think about right now really are, and what they're going to be like looking back on them. All the things that I have no idea are coming, good and bad, and how they'll change me as a person in 10, 15 years' time. Like being able to watch this again and see like, oh, you have no idea what adventures are in store for you. And just sort of have a nostalgia for who I am now. Like, I don't particularly suffer from that mentality of looking at myself right now and going like, this is the best time of my life. Or looking at it and go, my life is it's a heap of dung at this point. I don't tend to look at it like that. Like I don't know that I have any feeling or valuation of how life is right now. I'm just living it. But there will come a day where the value that I attach to right now will be so like mind-boggling. Like I think back to like a summer after we watched that Kevin Costner Robin Hood movie with a friend of mine, and we were just all about the archery that summer, and we just had so much fun tromping through the woods in the back areas of northern New Hampshire, firing arrows at hay bales and hiking through the woods. And it was just like we got into it so much that he found a book in his dad's library of some of the old Robin Hood stories written in that nearly impossible English way of talking that kids our age had no business being able to understand, but we banged our heads against it so much that we began to decipher it. And then years later, when I was going to community college and I had to take a Shakespeare class, like I had practiced enough with the Robin Hood version of English in those old manuscripts that Shakespearean language was like just a little bit different. I can decipher it. And I had teachers who were trying to figure out like how to understand what was being said there. And I said, well, actually, if you really listen, like I'm telling a teacher of English language, English literature, the actual meaning and the nuance of the statements being made. Like, this is a pun. This is a way of phrasing a thing with a secondary meaning that's both sinister and foreshadowing compared to, and it's just like, yeah, that's all a consequence of some stupid movie a friend of mine and I were obsessed with in school. And like, you wouldn't think at that time, like, oh, this will be significant. This will change the way we view and understand literature. And it's just so weird that such a little thing can make such a difference. And like, here I am right now in a series of moments that are, again, about as significant as watching a movie. But 20 years down the road, 10 years down the road, the things that'll have happened as a consequence and the things that seemingly meaningless now will have more significance in the future. I like having this record, this archive that I'll be able to visit again. Provided the internet doesn't collapse and go down in the next Great Depression and all the things that everybody I know are stressed out about right now. Yeah, we're in for some rough times. I imagine we're going to see some stuff in the next 5 years that are going to be a little alarming and a little stressful for some of us. But I do feel like there's going to be some amazing things to see in the future. And I think looking back on some of this, yes, there will be some foreshadowing of hard times, but there will also be like just nostalgia and love for who and where we were at the time. Should I be worried about how optimistic I'm being right now? I feel like every time I get this optimistic, I'm just around the corner from something slapping me down again. You got to be careful sometimes. But yeah, so that's all long-winded ramble that hit from the backside of discussing how I'm going to keep doing Viewsday movies, even if it's only for me in 10 years. To be able to go back and visit these again. Yeah. I do think, looking at this current timeline that I'm on here, I think what I'm probably going to do is, it's a little late to do it today, but tomorrow I'm going to do an update for The Cuckoo's Egg, which is the book I read. Then Wednesday is going to be these aren't live updates. These are going to be recorded and edited. And then Wednesday should be, I think I'm going to go see Captain Marvel and review that. And then I have a board game and product or service. I might do my computer here as a review of it, just to get that off of my chest. I'm still a little peeved about it, but and then food taste tests. I've got a bunch of those in backlog that I can do. Actually, some of them are from on the road when I traveled across the country. And then I might do more of the art exhibits I did while I was traveling. Or I might do I might pull out one of the CDs of music and see what I can come up with those. And then I've got some of those video games at the arcade cabinet at the Makerspace that I can do. And so that should be 3 this week, 3 next week, and then starting a new batch of I think I may do 3 again the subsequent week. So I might do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays as edited post updates. So for the start of April, it would be the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and then that would be book, movie, game. 8th would be a product or service. 10th would be food. 12th would be art or music. 15th would be video games. And then 17th, I might do a health and well-being edited post. Looking predominantly at either like exercise routines, because I need to get back into doing some of that stuff, or productivity stuff, or diet, like what I eat. So I think I want to add that as a category of stuff that I do. And so that would take it from books, movies, board games, product, service, food, art or music, video games, health and well-being. So that would put me at 8 categories of content rather than the 7 that I'm doing right now. And I would continue to do these live updates, hopefully daily here. There may be some things every now and then that get in the way, but hopefully not too many more. And then I need to get back into the editing and posting on the other channel for the Makerspace trips. And if I can, do the like weekend project videos. So like 5 Makerspace videos, a weekend project video, and I'm thinking of a sort of a secondary category. I haven't been able to get OBS to work while doing other things on this laptop. I think it strangles itself too much. We had that, and I don't know if that was a factor of the computer being overworked, or if it's where I'm living right now, we don't get enough of a pipeline for the internet. Because I know when we were trying to do it that one evening, it kept telling me it was unable to upload at a sufficient volume. And like, not auditory volume, but like it couldn't get enough signal through to keep a live update. So it would drop you guys into buffering. And while it did continue to record while I was playing with it for 16 minutes, I think, you could only watch it in archived format of those 16 minutes. And so I left that and just did a regular live stream instead. Yeah, I'm thinking of switching over the Viewsday nights from being live to being recorded in OBS. Because with OBS, I can record, not just live stream, and I can record it like I would a live stream. But it allows me to switch from window to window or stack windows. So I can get a digital timer like down here. I could have a separate window that overlays this main window with a timer counting where we are in the movie or the TV program, so people can track at the same time frame, and have over here a window that shows like still frames captured from the screen I'm watching at that time. And all I'd have to do is, when I'm going through on that video in OBS, is tap a button and it should make that window visible and then invisible again at the tap of a button just to capture that little section of video. Now, whether or not I can post, like whether or not I can do that in post, where like I watch it and have that whole viewing have that window invisible, and then go back through with an edit and pop it visible for a scene or not. I don't know that that's possible for me to do that way, but I do believe it saves them as MP4s, if I remember correctly. And I can take MP4s from there and throw them into HitFilm Express, which is a free editor that I use. And I know I can do an edit in HitFilm Express that would let me use the timestamp down here that I've got where in the movie it is, go to the frame just before a major reaction at a certain scene, put a picture-in-picture in over here of a still frame of the important part there for 4 or 5 seconds, drop it, and go back to the reaction. And that's a possibility of doing. It's something that could boost the usefulness of the live reaction videos. I mean, I guess they won't be live anymore at that point, but the live videos don't enable, like I can't put a clip from the movie in here live. I could possibly do it with an OBS, but there's sort of like a risk of copyright if I get too aggressive with that. And there's only, like, the only real way to do that carefully is do it after the fact in editing before it goes out. And even then, I'm not sure how far I could push that. Like, do I cap it at like 9 key scenes per movie that I take a still frame from and picture-in-picture it as still frames? Or do I take a 5-second clip from the movie? And like, what are the chances of getting hit with copy strikes? And what are the chances of movie companies or film industry contacting me with a cease and desist order? Like, I don't want to fight it. I don't want to put that in there, but I do want to, share the experience of seeing a movie with people. And for me, the easiest way to do that was to do a watch along with me in another window and watch my reactions. Like, that's not super difficult to do, and it gets around the copyright issues. So, I mean, that's sort of where my thoughts are on some of that. OBS, I think, as a means of recording green screen and picture and switching from camera 1 to camera 2, offers some capabilities that are interesting. And it's free. HitFilm Express is also free. It doesn't give me quite the ability to camera 1, camera 2 from the same video. But I can record multiple cameras and save them and then stack the videos in an edit. Yeah, see, like, I'm not sure, and I'm kind of curious if there's been any significant difference from a viewer standpoint to these live ones. Because when we went from what I was using on my laptop webcam, I think was a 480 resolution. It wasn't even a 720. It wasn't high definition. And this is 1080p. which is the second tier of high definition. Like there's 720, 1080, and this is 1080. And I wondered if it was chewing up or lagging or skipping in ways that the other one wasn't. It's definitely a better, well, it's a definitely higher quality image. You can see the bags under my eyes from my exhausted state of being lately. So it's definitely a better image quality, which is good for if next time I do a round of artwork or game design pieces or product or service category stuff where the visual end of that work is an important aspect of what you see. Doing better quality, I think, would be appreciated. But I wonder, like, how much of the bandwidth this is using at that. Because I feel like maybe if I dropped to 480 again, could I use OBS and just take the 480 image, put it as a smaller image in the top corner? Was I using 480 when I tried to do OBS? I might have been. It might just be too much work for the system to do. Now, it's possible it's where I'm located. I know at the makerspace in town, in the city, I know we have better quality internet. I don't know how much better, but I'm kind of curious that if I tried, but you know, this laptop, it's no longer transportable. It's, well, I mean, I could probably hook the laptop up to the big screen TV, take the webcam with me, just cut the monitor off the laptop, just take the base of the laptop. I have to set up a separate mic because I think I'm still using the mic on the laptop as the primary audio source. And I think the microphone on the webcam here is a little more tinny in sound. So I'm not sure which is the most viable way to do that. I'd be curious to see if I could do an OBS live stream from the makerspace. Because if we can, that means the issue was on our internet end, not on the capabilities of the computer I was using. Not that that's going to matter much because I'm going to have to invest in a new one anyway. I've been looking at those 2-in-1 tablet PCs as a possibility for a traveling computer and just milk this for as long as I can. Yeah, I bought an external mic and a mixer at one point, and we may use those for some sound stuff at the makerspace for like podcasting. If you do get something going on YouTube at some point, let me know where you are so I can find you. But yeah, I mean, I got an external mic, and I don't think I've quite mastered how it's working with the mixer and I got a decent quality microphone for. I don't know that it's a musician's style microphone. I think it's really meant more for voice and like auditory for video content. I don't think it's up to the range of needs that a musical recorder would need. But it wasn't a Yeti. It was one of those styled to be like an antique-y looking, like 1950s radio mic. It was kind of neat. I think the first time I tried it was on a different computer, and I must not have gotten some of the settings right, because I'm pretty sure what I was getting was practicing with the equipment is important. And I was at the point where like I wasn't doing anything that definitely needed a mic yet. To be fair, some of my older videos on this channel here, the audio quality is not super great. A mic would have improved that a bit. but the lighting's not great either. And unbeknownst to me, for most of that time, I was recording at a lower resolution than I wanted to. So, like, most of my older videos are really rough in quality. Like, I think a better mic would like be painting the hooves on a pig. It's like, why? It's not making it better in any stretch. But that's just part of the learning and going. I'm not ashamed of the quality of my old videos. Yeah, if I did those same videos now, I'd do them better. But yeah, that's what you want to happen. A lot of people recommend Yeti. Is it a USB mic? I think it's one of the few USB style mics that you don't need a mixer to feed it into. Yeah, and mine isn't a USB mic, I don't think. I think mine actually has one of those that is supposed to be run into a externally powered mixer or like an amp, and it's supposed to really catch some of the quality of the sound, but it's just like 3 more cords that you need to get these things plugged in. And the mixer I got does run from the mixer to a USB port, so it's like a USB capable mixer. I'm not sure it worked with the first computer I tried it on, so I'm kind of curious to try it again. Not really a studio I can do much with. Ideally, what I'd like to be able to do is get a place where I could have, and we might be able to set up a booth like this at the Makerspace, and I could set up a green screen with some of this, with my audio set up, and a high quality camera, and a good lighting setup, and that would give me so much more capability of doing higher quality video content. But like, I've watched YouTubers who their primary camera is a 1080p webcam mounted on top of their monitor in their gaming room with garbage in the background of like the shelves of stuff, or like a bed behind them in their bedroom, and they do all right. I mean, they've got over 100,000 subscribers, and you know, their audio is the mic on their headphones or the mic on the webcam. Now they don't have the blower going and the heater 20 feet away, which is just outright noisy as all get out. And like, this mic filters it really well. I don't know if that mic filters it well enough to be working. So it's sort of like pick and choose the things you can work with when you can work with them. Your first year of videos are going to have mistakes. They're going to be messy. They're going to be, well, for most YouTubers, if you look back and they look back at their original videos, they're called like cringing at my first videos. They're always mortified to see how rough their old videos were. I'm like, I'm not cringing at my old videos. I just acknowledge that that's where I had to come from. Yeah, USB mics, from what I've heard, there's some quality loss. But honestly, like, there are people, like I said, who have made videos on YouTube where their primary mic is a set of headphones with a little microphone on the cord. Like, if your content is of interest to somebody, they'll take what you can give them. And so I'm really of the mindset, like, I don't know that it's worth struggling over much. Like, it's more important to start making content I've also seen a fair number of people who produce I've seen a fair number of people who produce videos using an iPhone and just like the built-in audio and video within an iPhone. And I mean, to me, that's like, wow, that would be impressive. And I feel like there was a girl 8 months ago-ish. She got some notoriety on YouTube where like big name YouTubers are like, how did she get so popular? Because she went, I think in 3 months, she went from 30 subscribers to 1.5 million in 3 months. And she films everything on her iPhone. And the lighting is like the lighting in the bathroom or the lighting in her bedroom. And she doesn't have these big complicated scripts. She's not doing, you know, an hour and 15 minutes of content edited in a, you know, 3-point story narrative. Like, it was a young girl goofing around and being friendly with other people on the internet with her iPhone. And people liked it, not because it was some arranged high production video series, but because it was a real person being real and sharing her experiences and ideas with them. And I was like, yes, that's more sustainable, I think. Being a real person, forming a real community, and talking about real things. Nothing against some of the people. I watch some people who do highly edited, essentially TV programs. If you look at like a Philip DeFranco, he does a studio-based, recorded it, edited. He has staff members who do some of the editing for him. Like, it's a production quality news program for the internet. And yeah, it's good quality. It's a quality that a beginner person maybe can't do. But there are just as many weirdos out there with an iPhone and a simple little jack to put their, some of them just stack their camera. Like, a lot of people go out and get these big DSLRs and these Rode microphones. And yeah, it helps some of them do better than like they would otherwise. But like they end up stacking them on top of a series of books to get the right level, and they open up their window to get the right like daylight in. And so it's just kind of like, there are ways to make it. I thought about doing a series at one point. Like, what's the bare minimum you need to be able to produce a decent YouTube video? And like, if I really wanted to, I could pull out, see if I can get that web camera on the broken screen working. And using that, go back to 480p, or maybe I could just use this as a 480p. And instead of doing one big picture like this, using HitFilm Express, which is a free video editing, do maybe like 4 picture-in-picture, so that the 480p would be 1/4 of the screen. So you'd get, what was it? 480 by 7, no, by, I can't remember what the other dimension on that is. But at some point, like, if you stack enough windows of content in there, you can bring it back up to a 1080p production video. It's just not all one camera angle. And playing with that, see what you can do with that capability. But I mean, at this point, most cell phones are 1080p minimum. Some cell phones are 4K. I don't know that I'll ever make the jump to 4K. I don't make anything that needs to be that resolution. And by the same token, most of my audio needs aren't going to need to be anything other than you can understand me conversationally. Because like maybe if I do a piece of music, but I'm not going to be singing or maybe live playing an instrument. I'm going to use something like LMMS, which will produce digitally within the computer the sound of the instruments that I need. And I can use a small audio recorder. I'll see if I can pull up the one I have here. This is a Fosto, I don't know how you pronounce it, but this is what I'm using as an audio recorder. And it doesn't have a replaceable battery. To charge it, I have to plug it into a USB drive. I can erase files with this button, and then it's got some weird tricks. You have to learn how to use these buttons to navigate the menus. Has these two microphones in it. It has a headphone jack, so I can plug it in and listen through headphones to the audio files that I've recorded. But it also has a microphone and a line in port right there. And so that's headphones and that's microphone line in. With the microphone line in recorder, I can do like a lav mic and put this in a pocket and have the lav mic recording the person speaking. And I can do a line in so that if I'm on a phone or if I hook it up to the headphone jack on my computer, somebody's Skyping a conversation to me, I can audio record that Skyped conversation and I can run it through a podcast or something else once it's recorded on here. Because once it's on here, I can plug in my USB drive again and connect to my computer and download the files directly from it. And they come off as MP3 files, I believe. And let's see, can I get it to start up right now and give me some info? What format it records them on? Oh, they record them as WAVs, I believe. But in most audio editing, like Audacity or even in Windows Movie Maker, HitFilm Express, I can edit the audio files over and it lace it into an MP4 video file. And so I was like, yeah, I don't really have any problems with what this produces audio-wise. And if you look at my other channel with the Makerspace interviews, the audio that you're hearing in most of those is from this. And some of it sounds echoey because I haven't quite mastered this yet. There are settings in here for, let's see if I can get in there, menu, settings, recording scene, there you go. Recording scene, normal, interview, meeting, outdoor, bar, concert, meeting hall. And those are the different styles. And it does different sound filtering to cut out background noises for different ones. I just always have it set to normal. So I have no idea what its other capabilities are. And so like, but you can see in my other videos on my other channel that they're decent quality. No matter what, like you'll get background shot noise occasionally. And if I'm in an echoey room, you can tell. And I'm pretty sure changing one of those features to a different type of setting would resolve some of that on this. So this was a $50 audio recorder I got off of Amazon, I think. And this is done really well by me. Now I could, if I'm recording a video that I'm going to edit later, I can use this like this and speak into it. And it'll record much better audio quality than what I've done on this channel and what you're hearing right now. Now, I know you said you have some hearing loss, so that may not be as apparent or obvious to you, but like for $50, having a recorder like this, I could even just put it in a pocket on a shirt and have the mics facing upwards. And I may do that in the future for this channel. I don't know yet. I'm still at the point where, like, if you can hear what I'm saying, I don't know that I need to upgrade just yet. Like when I'm doing something where the audio quality is important to do better, I'll probably do better. Well, actually, one of the things about 4K and 8K and whatever K they want to go to after that is the beauty of using those is, like in this image right now at 1080p, if I were to cut off a portion of the screen and zoom in on that, you'll lose resolution because the part we're cutting out and focusing on will be at a portion of 1080p. Because 1080p is like, if I remember correctly, it's the distance from side to side. Might be vertical. But one of the dimensions on this is 1080 pixels wide or long, and 1080, like honestly, when I'm watching videos on YouTube, if they're a 4K video, it's going to go into buffering every 4 minutes as it tries to download the stream of enough content and load it into the computer's player. I don't usually watch at that resolution. I have occasionally watched at 720 and 1080p, but the vast majority of videos that I'm watching, like 780 is enough. Or no, not 780. 480 is enough. Like standard definition. Like when I do my Viewsday nights and I watch the Marvel movies, I have the ability to download high definition and standard definition, and it's like $1 difference. And you know, I've done this standard definition because, like, that's good enough. That's all I need to see it at. I'm not getting a better movie by any massive quantity by going high definition. Now, occasionally you'll want to watch something in like a 1080p where what you're looking for is like seeing the raindrops on a spider web in a nature documentary, like good quality landscape or like a high quality, like I would say looking at like the scenic views in Lord of the Rings, that's a movie I kind of want to see in a higher resolution. Because there's going to be something like the beauty needs to be seen there. But, you know, for somebody sitting in a chair in front of the monitor talking about can you bend rock, like one of the science programming or programs on YouTube here, one of the guys does a program on there where he did an episode on can you bend rock. At no point during that video do I need to see it in 4K. Now, if he records in 4K and when he goes into editing and he wants to get a closer look at the strata within a piece of sandstone, having it done in 4K means he can crop in closer and still have it at a decent 1080p. And the part that gets cropped off is the other, like, I think from 1080p to 4K is a 2 or 3 times increase in visible pixels. So if you cut a 4K in half, you're getting roughly a 1080p on the other axis. So if you did like a 4K like this and you cut it down the middle and rotate one sideways, I think you're getting 1080p at that point. I'm not sure about that. I'm no expert. But yeah, I mean, like being able to crop the image or the video to the right section of the screen lets you also do things like on this one, if I'm standing over here, you could, with a 4K, you could start with a picture here and pan without actually having to move the camera. As you pan through the picture, you're cutting off all the other parts of it. And so it allows you to do effects and capabilities with your camera. And like at some point when I want to get flashy with something, maybe I'll do that. honestly, with what I do, where it's mainly my talking head and occasionally me showing something, like this here, all you need for this is this section here. So this whole 1080p screen is unnecessary. All this is background noise. If I build a set for good background visuals, that's fine. One of the things I can do is if I'm talking to somebody on Skype, I could put a picture-in-picture here. I could do a lower third talking about who I am and what I'm talking about, and a pop-out menu on the side talking about the points that I'm making in this video and where to skip to if you want to go to those. Like, I could take a 480 picture up in the right corner and have a whole lot of informational details on sidebars and lower thirds that would make up the rest of the 1080p frame. It's totally a doable way to do something. And like it is, I sometimes feel like I wish I had done better with than 720 for my Makerspace videos, but I think they're doable where they are. I think once I get to next year where I'm considering going global, I may do a higher quality. I might do a 1080p for my interviews at Makerspaces. But again, it's just a talking head in most cases. And so, like, do you really want to see, like, I've got a spot right here. Do you want to see that on camera? Who needs to see that? Nobody cares. Like, and we're all fuzzy now because I got too close. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure to what degree the compression goes through in YouTube. Like, I know there's some graininess that gets added to, and that's from the compression for some people. I know you can upload like the raw video files. I also know that 1080p videos uploaded through YouTube, like if it's longer than a 5-minute video at 1080p, be prepared for a 2-hour upload from where I am. It's excruciating, and it's terrifying sometimes, because if you're doing like a 1080p video upload and you're uploading it, there's an issue. Sometimes like something will interrupt the signal just for like a split second. Like either there's a noise from the fan on the laptop that introduces noise into the upload signal, or like I've known people who are making big old high quality video files, and they're trying to upload that at a certain point, and you wait 3 hours for this upload, and in the last 10 minutes of the upload something goes wrong and it can't finish the upload and you have to start over again. I don't have 7 hours to try to repeatedly upload a file. Like the failure I had with the OBS to even do the live stream right, that was so frustrating. That was so frustrating. It was like an hour of trying to get it to work right. And I was like, I don't know that I want to spend 6 hours uploading a file if it doesn't need to be, like if I do a macro image, like if I ever pick up as one of my art projects painting things on grains of rice, then I'm going to want a higher quality macro lens on a high quality, high definition DSLR camera. And I'm going to want to be able to high-end edit it and get the right compression of the images on that file. I don't foresee myself doing much of anything that needs to be that quality. Yeah, I've had a few moments with a few friends of mine. A good friend of mine from the makerspace and maker movement in the area where we are right now, he's high into like high definition images on camera, and he wants high quality audio on all the things he does. And I'm like, that's great, dude, but you have to realize, like, you're just doing that for like the praise of audio and video junkies. And like to a certain degree, I'm a bit of a reverse snob about this kind of thing. Like, I know that sometimes when I've done some writing, I have a little bit of dyslexia. And so every now and then I will spell like words like friend. Like, I always struggled with that. I have to use a mnemonic device where like fry ends is how you spell friends. Different is ants are different from ants. And so I have to remember the right way to spell a word using techniques like that, because I still sometimes spell the same word 3 different ways in a paragraph. And I get those people who come in when I write topics on a forum where I'm a moderator. I write topics on those forums about like the implications of Brexit for the economy in the Europe and the potential risks to world economic situations and how that affects things, or automation in manufacturing and the advent of 3D printing as a capability to make things accessible to small-scale manufacture, meaning there's less manufacturing jobs because most of that can be either automated or home manufactured on small scales. So I can write a whole just huge discussion on that topic. And I'm sorry, but if you come into that discussion on that topic and the only thing you have to offer that discussion is you didn't spell this right, you're both annoying me and your contribution to the discussion is worthless at that point. That's sort of how I feel about that. Like, if you can't get past a misspelled word to understand what's being talked about, then you're not here to talk about it. You're here to be pedantic about the spelling of the word fiscal. You know, if that's your big focus, you weren't interested in the topic in the first place, and you're not who I'm writing for, and you're not who I'm talking with. And I feel sort of the same way about the people who say, like, I only watch videos with drone footage and 4K video. That's great. I'm not making videos for you. You're not my audience. The people I want to create videos for are the ones who are interested in exploring their own creativity, sharing ideas with one another, and reinforcing and supporting each other. And if you're going to come in here and talk about it's not 4K video, so this is garbage, you don't have to watch it. If my audio is not good enough, that's okay. I may upgrade my audio at some point because there may be some things I want to do with a better audio feature. But I'm not going to be like nitpicking the work of anybody who produces something. Like, if you make a movie and the best you can do is an echoey room's audio, I'm not going to downgrade your movie because of that. If your movie topic and your story and your acting and the props, like, if any of those things are noteworthy, I'll take note of them. I won't crap on your movie because it's not studio quality. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the creativity of the creator. I'm looking for the ideas, the stories, the care and passion that goes into a creation. And that's sort of what I like about YouTube, is you're going to get passionate, creative people playing with the medium of video production. And like using like the white balance on this image isn't great. Did you get what I was talking about though? And you know, it's like I will go for those types of movies before I go for, And actually, one of the things I was just looking into the other day, somebody posted something. Let's see, what was it? I think I was watching a Wheezy Waiter video, and he was talking about producing or recovering from almost failing as a channel. And one of the things he said in that video was, you know, movies are made with all sorts of kinds of equipment. You don't have to have the best equipment to do stuff. And one of the movies he referred to two movies. No, he had 4 movies listed up where 2 of the movies were made with multi-million-dollar recording equipment. And 2 of the movies he put up there were like critically acclaimed movies that were both shot on an iPhone. Now, they had some specialty lenses that they could attach to some of them for wide-angle shots, and they had downloaded a couple apps to increase the capabilities of their recording, but they were shot on iPhones, and they're movies you can purchase or rent or view on services right now. And one of them was called Tangerine, and Tangerine, where was it? They shot the film using 3 iPhone 5S smartphones. The money saved on camera equipment was used to pay for shooting locations and pay extras. They used the Filmic Pro app, a video app to control focus, aperture, color temperature, as well as capture video clips at higher bit rates, and an anamorphic adapter from Moondog Labs to capture widescreen. They also used Tiffin's Steadicam Smoothie to capture smooth moving shots. Now, there are ways to build a hack together Steadicam rig that you could do. And then post-production was using Final Cut Pro, which most of those things that you can do in Final Cut Pro, you can do in HitFilm Express. It looks like the primary look of the film in DaVinci Resolve to correct contrast and saturation. And I believe DaVinci is another downloadable, usable video editing software. So, like, I was kind of like fascinated by the fact that somewhere out there were movies that you can rent or buy on DVD that are fully produced movies that were shot on iPhones. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want to hear. Now, the quality of those movies are actually pretty high quality movies, but by the same token, I feel like even if you have a video quality that's not too different from what you're getting here, could I make a movie just using this? And if I did, would the story and acting be more important than the quality of the video as to how successful or interested people are in it? What would that kind of movie be like? And I kind of want to see other people's versions of that. And like, I'm not hung up on the quality, and that's for a movie. YouTube videos are not movies, and they're not even really just like TV programs. There's something more personal, more not quite home movie, but like those movies your parents used to take of you with like the film cameras or the VHS cameras as they came out. Like, you can do movies like that too, but there's just something uniquely human about the making of a YouTube series or channel or content. It's made by a person, and it's not a makeup department, and it's not scripting. There's something real about the interactions you have with people. And I like that better. ghost hunters, huh? That would be interesting to try to do in this area. I know a couple people who have written a couple books about haunted New England. I'm not usually big on that kind of thing, but it could be fun to do a thing like that once or twice. As a sort of a exploration. Like I have ideas of things I want to do where I want to do the reimagining the Star Wars prequel movies, and like I feel like I could probably get away with me off to the side of the screen here, and this area of the screen being a small screen of still images that I use as slides to, you know, detail the different scenes that I would use. But I mean, this is a communication tool, not necessarily a high production video tool. And it's one of those things that I find interesting of like you can tell a distinct difference in like there was a big thing for a lot of young YouTubers out there talking about T-Series versus PewDiePie. And people are like, they're going to pass PewDiePie in subscriber numbers soon. But here's the thing. PewDiePie's a guy at home with his equipment. T-Series is a production company. And you look at it like when Will Smith came over to YouTube and he's become a YouTuber now, Will Smith's content is produced content by a company with cameramen and production equipment and editors, and they're producing content as a company. You look at somebody like, what is it, Jablowski's? It's Jack Black's channel. His content is pretty much a YouTuber's content. And there's a distinct feel of difference between those. Like when it's produced by a company with lots of people with professional grade equipment, a makeup budget, scripting, rehearsal time, editing, and multiple takes, like that's, I like watching some of that stuff. But that stuff's on YouTube. The people who are making stuff in their homes with a simple camera, editing software and doing it themselves, to me that is YouTube. It's not on YouTube, it is YouTube. Like I can download Ant-Man and Wasp on YouTube. That doesn't mean it's YouTube content. And there's a big distinction in my brain about those things. And when I'm on YouTube to watch something, I more often than not want to hear it from other YouTubers. I'm tired of being sold content that's on YouTube but isn't YouTube. And I don't know what it is about that makes the difference for me. I think there's something more real about YouTubers than people who come onto YouTube from other places. And maybe that's me being snobby like the people who are snobby about 4K versus 1080p. Maybe that's just me being stuck up and whatever. But I don't know. To each their own, I guess. So Photo Sounder is I'll have to look into seeing what that's about. Because like even if I never use it, one of my hobbies is finding something new and figuring out, okay, I don't know what I would do with this yet, but if I did this, this, and this, I could use it for this thing people aren't using it for yet. I think we're running a little longer tonight than usual, too. I did have one of my friends mention that hour-long videos is a big investment for them to do. Oh, yeah, we're an hour and 20 minutes in. Ooh, okay. I should probably save some content for later this week, too. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw something the other day, some tutorials on how to clean up still images in an interesting way. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was somebody using GIMP, or yeah, I think it was GIMP to do some photo editing, and the effect they managed to achieve with it was so impressive that I have to go back. I do have some classes I need to some online classes for using certain softwares. One of them is learning more about GIMP. Okay, so yeah, like visualizing audio tracks is Photosounder, huh? All right, I can see that. That's interesting. Might be fun to see if I could tweak that to do something with music at some point. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should probably cut it here for tonight. I've got some things on the stove that are probably cool enough now that I can work on them. Yeah, I found that a lot of the free or easy to use softwares out there like GIMP and HitFilm and Audacity have popular fan bases on YouTube that'll come in and they'll produce tutorials for each other to learn how to do new neat things with the software online. And I love that. That's another thing I love about YouTube is like people love to tell you how to do something so that you can do these things too. I love that. Alrighty, so I gotta go finish prepping food for the next day or two, and then I will see you tomorrow, I think. Well, I should see you tomorrow, provided I don't wear myself out doing other things. Have a good one. Alrighty, see you tomorrow.